sixth biggest war in human history. 1. The Israeli-Palestinian War occurs from 1948, when the British attempted to seize a territory belonging to the Turkish Ottoman Empire, and then the territory was dedicated to the Jews in order to rebuild the homeland, since they were expelled from the region for rebelling to God since thousands of years ago. The Muslim-majority Middle Eastern countries would be less amenable to this, spontaneously taking up arms against Israel in the Arab-Israeli War in 1948. In the end, Israel won this war. The war started again in 1967, known as the Six-Day War. The cause of this war is because Arab countries are still not willing to accept Israel, and again this war was again won by Israel, although open warfare did not happen again afterwards. But apparently low-intensity conflicts are still ongoing today. On the 13th of September 1993, both Israel and Palestine have recognized their respective sovereignty through an agreement known as the Oslo Deal. But for Hamas, that does not approve the decision, so continue to get pressure from Israel until now. Hundreds of thousands of lives have been lost due to this conflict. 2. The Crusade. It was a war that began with the purpose of fighting over a city called Jerusalem, which later became the greatest religious war in the history of mankind, in which the Christians later sanctioned by Pope Urban II to reclaim the Holy Land from the Sultanate of Turkey in 1095, and in that same year the First Crusade took place. Then, from the events of the Crusades that occurred from the 9th to the 16th century AD led to the name of Salahuddin al-Ayyubi and Richard the Lionheart as a hero of that time. The war itself had an effect in bringing Europe into the Renaissance age. The term crusade is still used to indicate the inter-religious conflict that still continues in the present day. 3. The Mongol Expansion. The Mongol expansion was a major expansion of the Mongols led by Genghis Khan to conquer the Eurasian region in the early 13th century. Coming with large and highly trained horsemen, Genghis Khan succeeded in spreading terror throughout Eurasia for a decade. Genghis Khan succeeded in dominating China, destroying Russia, and defeating the Persian Empire, occupying Poland and Hungary, and also devastating Baghdad as the center of the Islamic Caliphate of the time. The ways and motivations of the Genghis Khan expansion are very different from those of previous emperors. He destroys whatever is before him, indiscriminately. He attacks not aimed at commanding, but to loot, rape, and forcibly take the girls they bring to his country. This is what makes him feared throughout Eurasia. 4. World War I. This war lasted from July 28, 1914 to November 11, 1918. Due to the murder of the Austrian Prince Franz Ferdinand, who was killed by members of the Serbian terrorist group Gavrilo Princip in Sarajevo. And this war involves the Central Bloc, Germany, Austria, Bulgaria and Turkey, with allied blocs, United States, Russia, France, England, Italy and Canada. And this war resulted in the collapse of absolute monarchic power throughout the world. In addition, there are four dynasties: Habsburg, Hohenzollern, Ottoman and Romanov, which had an era of power until the time of the Crusades, all of which suffered a post-war collapse. This war has caused the deaths of 40 million people worldwide, as well as the emergence of economic depression in 1929. 5. World War II. This war occurred in various parts of the world that lasted from September 1, 1939 until August 14, 1945 on 3 continents: Europe, Asia and Africa. On the European continent, Adolf Hitler, as the German ruler who tried to revive Germany's glory through fascism, first attacked Poland. Furthermore, with the help of Italy, Germany continued to expand its occupied territory to the Soviet Union. And in Asia, suddenly the Japanese Empire attacked the U.S. Marine base at Pearl Harbor on the island of Hawaii on December 7, 1941, using an army dubbed kamikaze, or the suicide troops. And as a result, the event made Asia a battlefield for World War II. The United States, who initially not at war, began to take up arms against the Axis bloc, joining the British and French troops. The Soviet Union was suddenly attacked by its own ally, Germany, with Operation Barbarossa in 1941, turning against it and starting a series of German defeats. The war that ended on August 14, 1945, with the Japanese surrender to the Allies after its two cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was destroyed by atomic bomb by the United States. This war resulted in the victims of at least 50 million people, the forming of United Nations organizations, and the emergence of the Soviet Union as well as the United States as new superpower in the world. And since that time, Germany was divided into two parts. The West Germany, which was controlled by US and Allied forces, and the East Germany that under the Soviet rule. 6. Napoleonic Wars. This battle arose during Napoleon Bonaparte ruled France from 1799 to 1815 and had widespread impact in Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte, who managed to take power in France through a coup 18. Brumaire, rearranged the military system in France and surprisingly managed to expand the power of France to dominate almost the entire region of Europe. But France cannot afford to fight England and Russia. The Napoleonic War ended when he suffered a defeat in the Battle of Waterloo, the 18th of June 1815, and agreed to a Second Paris Pact. The death toll is around 3.25 million to 6.5 million. That's it. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video.